בשם השם נעשה ונצליח. הלכות פסח, ילקוט Yosef, Simon, Tav, Samechet, Halachot Erev Pesach, the laws of Passover Eve. Halacha Aleph. Asul le'asot melacha be'erev Pesach achar chasot hayom. It is prohibited to work or to do any melacha, whatever constitutes melacha, work on Passover Eve after the midday Shaot Zemaniyot. Ushene ta'amim ledavar. There are two reasons to this prohibition. Hata'am ha'echad hu. The first reason is kedei shelo yitrad b'melacha v'yemana mahanachat v'afiyat hachanat v'afiyat hamatzah lesorach halayla. One reason is because once somebody engages himself in working, then he becomes tired. So therefore, he cannot prepare himself for the Seder night. He cannot prepare the matzah that he needs for the Seder night. In the older days, that they baked the matzah perhaps on Erev Pesach.
Right. Same time as
so the same time as the Passover Eve, to get ready to have it fresh or to make sure that it is well done. It's before Passover. And also there are many cashering of the kelim, the containers that need to become chametz free, so it has to be done after chametz was used in them. Some of them had to be left overnight, so many of them is done right before, few hours before Pesach night starts. So that's one reason, because if you're tired, you cannot prepare for the Seder night. The second reason is ki bizman shahaya beit hamikdash qayam haya asul lechol adam meIsrael asul melacha be'erev Pesach mechasot hayom v'ale lefi she'en hu zeman ha'ravat korban Pesach she'afilu bechol yamot hashana kol adam שהקריב קורבן למזבח אותו היום יום טוב שלו הוא ונעשה בעשיית מלאכה במשך כל היום. So when we had the first Beit HaMikdash and the second Beit HaMikdash, Be'ezrat Hashem, third Beit HaMikdash b'mehera b'yameinu amen, they had to bring Korban Pesach on Erev Pesach, and they had to prepare for that. So the whole day they were not allowed to do work, because they had to do all of this, bringing the korban, the sacrifice for Passover. It's time consuming. They had to bring it to the Beit HaMikdash, and there was a long line and all that. So that's why our rabbis prohibited working on Erev Pesach, and it would have been considered for them like a Yom Tov, that they were bringing this Korban Pesach. And you don't work on Yom Tov, right? Ela sha Korban Pesach hoil ve'en zemano ela mechaset hayom ulemala, since Korban Pesach the time is from the midday and on. Lefikach lo ne'asa b'melacha ela mechasot hayom ve'elech. By this particular Korban Pesach, it had to be brought after the midday, right? After chasot, right? So from that time and on, it was prohibited to do any melacha. Sherach az nechshav ki Yom Tov. So for Korban Pesach, right after the midday, Shaot Zemaniyot would have been considered like Yom Tov, and therefore the one is not allowed to work. Va'af lacha shachar beit hamikdash ubata Korban Pesach, and even though after the destruction of the temple, that we don't have any more Korban Pesach, be'avunatenu, because of our sins, lo nitbatel isur asiyat melacha. This prohibition has not been nullified; it's still there. Shekivan shenesa beminyan al kol Israel nesar leulmei ad. Since this was this was decreed upon Jews with a minyan, then they were the big crowd who all allowed and they accepted this prohibition still continues. Right? شکل دعوا شب مینیان افیلو نتبته لطعم. So the rule is شناسب بگلالو. So the rule is whenever there is a prohibition, there is a decree that was done among a minyan, more than 10 people, and even though the reason for that is not existent anymore, أفعل پیخن لو نتبدل اسم ایسور. So this isur, the prohibition is not cannot be nullified. The prohibition is still there, cannot be nullified. הלכה ב' אם חל ערב פסח ושבת מותר לעשות מלאכה בערב שבת אחר חצות היום. If Erev Pesach starts on Shabbat, that means Passover Eve is on Saturday, Shabbat. Mutar la'asot, it is allowed to work as a certain permissible work on the Erev Shabbat, right? Achar chasot hayom. Right? After, so we're talking about Friday afternoon. Erev Pesach is on Shabbat, so you are allowed to work on Friday afternoon. Shatam hacharon hana'al iqal halacha umekivan sheqorban Pesach qarav bizmano b'Shabbat. Since if we would have had Beit HaMikdash, Korban Pesach would have been brought on Erev Pesach, that would be on Shabbat. So therefore the Friday is no time to bring Korban Pesach. Right? The Shabbat would have been the day to bring Korban Pesach. So therefore Friday you are allowed to work. Right? As the Pasuk says, V'yasu b'nei Yisrael et HaPesach b'moado, that Jews should do, they should celebrate Pesach on its time. In other words, bringing Korban Pesach has to be on its time. Afilu b'Shabbat, even if it falls on Shabbat, according to Masechet Pesachim. En le'isur asiyat melacha be'erev Shabbat, and there is no prohibition of doing melacha on Erev Shabbat over here. Right? It's a Friday. וגם אין לנו לגזור משום ערב פסח של שאר שנים. And also there is no decree, right, of the other years that befalls on us. שמא יטעו ויעשו מלאכה בערב פסח אחר חצות, שהואיל ובזמן הזה אין האיסור של עשיית מלאכה בערב פסח אלא מדברי סופרים, and ligzor gezerah legezerah. So we don't make one decree on top of another decree. We don't say that, Erev Pesach is on Shabbat. Maybe this guy comes and he does the melacha on Shabbat. No, we don't say that. Umikol magom lo yasu melacha be'erev Shabbat mizeman mincha ketana ulemala. However, still one should not work on Erev Pesach. Erev Shabbat, that is on Friday after Mincha Ketana, and on Sha'oseh Melacha be'erev Shabbat u'be'erev Yom Tov min ha'mincha u'lemala eino ro'eh siman beracha me'ota melacha le'olam, because the rule is, according to oral Torah in Masechet Pesachim, we learn that whoever works on Erev Shabbat, right, or on Erev Yom Tov, on Erev Shabbat or on Erev Yom Tov he works, right? After the time of Mincha Ketana, that's the first time that you could say Mincha, right? There is no blessing in the money that one makes that time. The money has no blessings. They say that Moshe Rabbeinu did not ascend to Har Sinai, right, to learn Torah on Erev Shabbat.
Really?
Why? Because he had to prepare for Shabbat. So if Moshe Rabbeinu did not learn Torah, did not go to learn Torah from Hashem on Erev Shabbat, how much more so we need to be careful not to do things that are not really necessary on Friday. The Satan is very, very powerful and knows how to get us busy with 1,000 things on Erev Shabbat. So one needs to be strong. Ezeu Gibor, Hakovesh Litzro, who is a strong person who can control and overcome his,
Conquer.
right? He can conquer his Yetzer Hara. In other words, he tells the Yetzer Hara what is appropriate to be done, not allowing Yetzer Hara to tell him do this or do that. Mutar la'asot kol melachot be'erev Pesach, halacha gimel, achar chasot hayom al yedei goy. One is allowed to have a Gentile, non-Jew, to do any type of melacha, any type of work that is prohibited for him on Erev Pesach, on Passover Eve, through a non-Jew Gentile. Shelo amu chachamim amirat legoy shevut, ela b'Shabbat v'Yom Tov v'chol hamoed, ela aval Erev Pesach she'en bo mishum kedushat Yom Tov, omer legoy asiyat melacha v'oseh, והוא הדין שמוטל לבנות ביתו על ידי גוי בערב פסח אחר חסות זולת במקום שנהגו להחמיר שאין זה להחמיר. So a person is allowed to get a Gentile non-Jew and give him the work that he can do himself, to him to do it, to him or her on Erev Pesach, on Passover Eve. There is no problem. We don't say that it's Gezerah. We can tell Amirat go. Is that a problem? Right? And also, if one needs to complete the construction of his home, his remodeling, he can do that even after. On Erev Pesach, even after the midday, after Chasot, through a Gentile. However, if there is a place that they are strict, then one should follow the minhag of the makom, the custom of the place, and he should not do it. כל מה, הלכה ד' כל מה שמותר לעשות בכל המועד, כגון דבר עבד, או מעשה חדיות, ולא מעשה אומן, וגם יש בו צורך המועד. So whatever it's permissible to be done on the Chol HaMoed. Chol HaMoed are the weekdays between the first Yom Tov and the second Yom Tov, the first sets of the Yom Tov and the last Yom Tovs of the Chag Pesach or Sukkot. Now, whatever is allowed, for example, to be done. For example, if there is somebody davar haver, if somebody would not take the job order, he would have a significant loss. Or it's a very simple work, very simple thing to be done, not a big deal, right? It's not professional. You don't need to hire somebody professional to do it, right? Or something that you need to do for the sake of the Moed in itself. Let's say for the sake of the Moed, you need to go buy utensils, or you need to go buy clothing, right? You don't have other clothing, you need to go and buy for the Chag. That is allowed. V'chen po'al ani she'en lo ma ya'achal. And if there is a worker that is poor and he has no money, he doesn't have food to eat. וכן יתר הדברים המותרים בכל המועד, and many other things that is permissible on חול המועד, מותר לעשות בערב פסח אחר חסות. All of those categories can be done on ערב פסח after midday חסות. כי איסור מלאכה בערב פסח אחר חסות בזמן הזה קל יותר מדין איסור מלאכה בכל המועד, because the work that can be done on Erev Pesach is much more lenient than the work that you could do on Chol HaMoed. So if you are allowed to do certain works on Chol HaMoed, how much more so you could do them on Erev Pesach. On Erev Pesach. וכן מותר לעשות משא ומתן וברכמתיה בערב פסח, אולם טוב להחמיר על כל פנים משעת מנחה קטנה ומנהלה. And also, one is allowed to make money, right? Or he can hire somebody to work instead of him on Erev Pesach. However, it is better to be strict and not to do it after the time of Mincha Ketana, the first time that one could possibly pray Mincha prayer. לפטור בגדים חדשים, בין בשכר בין בחינם. For example, to... Oh, sorry. Yeah. We're continuing. Next page. Oh, sorry. הלכה है. לא אסור עשיית מלאכה בערב פסח, אלא מלאכה גמורה. Now, the prohibition of doing certain works on Pesach Eve, on the Passover Eve, Erev Pesach, it's only on a complete melacha gemura. It's a complete melacha. What is that? What does that mean? Kegon la'asur kelim chadashim. For example, one is not allowed to make containers, plates. In the older days, they had to make plates sometimes. They had to scrub, the copper plates and make them ready for Pesach. That cannot be done. Or liftor begadim chadashim, litfor, or to sew new clothing. Ben besachar ben bechinam, whether somebody is getting paid for that or he's doing it for free. Avar reshai hu letaken kilav, but one is allowed on Erev Pesach to fix his clothing or to fix his containers. Over here is the club, and there's the clothing. כגון בגד שנערה קצת רשאי לתופרו ולתקנו לצורך המועד. For example, if he has a suit or another clothing that a little bit is ripped, right, then can be sewed together, can be fixed, right, and that is provided if he is going to use that for that chag, for that holiday, whether it's holiday Pesach or Sukkot. Va'afilu ma'aseh uman, even if this is real, job, it's a ma'aseh uman mutar ben la'asmo ben la'acherim. He can do it as long as he needs that for Yom Tov. He can. This is perhaps for himself, right?
Not for himself, the la'atzmo.
Yeah, afilu ma'aseh uman mutar ben la'asmo ben acherim. He can do it either by himself, he can sew it, or he can give it to others to sew it for him. Mikol magom lo yitol ha'uman sechar al hatigon כשעושה לאחרים אלא אם כן במעשה hediot. Now, he should not pay the professional person who is doing this to fix the clothing, that he should do it for others, right? Only if this is what he's going to do is something, not such a big deal to do. In other words, if it's Maaseh Hediot, right, he can pay him to do a simple job even for others. Halakha Vav. Yesh lehorot לתושבי ירושלים להעדיף לכתחילה להסתפל בליל ערב פסח ולא למחרת היום, לשאת ידי חובת כל הדיור. So there is an opinion that one should be aware of, especially in those who live in Yerushalayim, near HaKodesh, right? That in Jerusalem, the people in Jerusalem should not go get a haircut on Erev Pesach, right? On Erev Pesach, right? It's lechatchila. No. It's no. So definitely, it is preferable. It's better lechatchila to do it on the night of Erev Pesach. That means. Right, on the night of Erev Pesach, not on the day of Erev Pesach. Exactly. Okay? הלכה זין, ומכל מקום, אם לא הסתפר בליל ערב פסח, but somebody who could not get a haircut on the night of Erev Pesach, מותר להסתפר בערב פסח קודם חסות. He could still get a haircut on Passover Eve up till midday. ואם שכח להסתפר לפני חסות, but if he forgot and he could not have haircut before חסות, the midday, מותר לו להסתפר אחר חסות בידי עצמו. He can give himself haircut even after the midday if he forgot. אבל לא על ידי ישראל חברו, but he cannot approach his Jewish friend, tell him give me a haircut. אפילו בחינם, even for free. ומכל מקום מותר לו להסתפר בשכר אצל ישראל עני שאין לו מה לאכול כפי הצורך בליל הסדר וביום טוב של פסח. However, if there is a person who is needy, he has no money to buy food, he can go to that Jew and tell him, please give me a haircut, and I even pay for it. And he can accept the money because this money will go to a good place. He will go and spend it for his needs of Pesach. וכן מותר להסתפר על ידי גוי בשכר בערב פסח אחר חסות. And also it is permissible that one goes to a non-Jew and even pay him on Erev Pesach even after the midday to get a haircut. Okay? הלכה ח' אם חל ערב פסח בשבת מותר להסתפר בערב שבת. If ערב פסח falls on Shabbat, obviously one is allowed to get a haircut on Erev Shabbat. Okay, הלכה ט' הבא ממדינת הים בערב פסח ולא להספיק להסתפר. Right, if somebody arrives from another city, right, overseas, and he did not have time to get a haircut, מותר לו להסתפר בערב פסח על ידי ישראל ובשכר. On Erev Pesach, he is allowed to get a haircut by a Jew and even by paying him. והוא הדין לגלח הראשונה של קטן שעושים שמחה שמותר אף בכל המועד. Now this is the same law if this is for a qatan, somebody who is before the age of bar mitzvah, right? That there is a simcha, going on. Perhaps the first time that he is going to have abshen. Abshen is the first God. No, that's the first God. The galechat is the abshen. Yeah. Mutar shemutar af bechol hamoed. That is even mutar for him because this is the halakeh or option as they call it, right? Is that they for the first 3 years they don't cut the hair of a boy. If the birthday of the first 3 years old birthday comes during even Chol HaMoed or on Erev Pesach, his parents can give him a haircut, right? Yeah. That's the time. Halakha Yud. Mutar laf'il mechonat kevisa be'erev Pesach kodem chasod. It is permissible to use washing machine to wash clothing on Passover Eve before the midday. אף על פי שהיא ממשיכה לפועל באופן אוטומטי גם אחר חסות ופשוט. Even though that this washing machine is going to wash the clothing after the midday, nonetheless this is not a problem. One could do that. הלכה י' א' מותר לגזוז ציפורניו בערב פסח אחר חסות. One is allowed to clip his nails, fingernails, or for his feet on Erev Pesach, on Passover Eve, after the midday. It's not a problem. וכן מותר לשחצת נעליו ומשחת נעלים ולפריקם לכבוד יום טוב. Yes. And one is, and also it is permissible for somebody to wax, to wax, to make it shiny, right? To make it to wax or make it shiny his shoes for the honor of Yom Tov. ומותר לגהץ הבגדים מגהץ חם. And also one is allowed to iron his clothes on Erev Pesach even after Chasot, right? ומותר לסלם במצלמה סורת אדם או נוף בערב פסח. And also one is allowed to take a picture with another individual or with a site on Erev Pesach. Perhaps in the older days it was a big deal to take a picture. It needed lots of preparations. Nowadays you just everything is digital. It's very easy.
But I think maybe it means.
You might think that's a big deal. It's not a big deal.
I mean, but let's say you have the whole family together.
To get them together.
Take a picture one time.
It might take time. Okay, perhaps.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yep. הלכה י"ב במה דברים אמורים בערב פסח אחר חסות היום אבל קודם חסות הדבר תלוי במנהג המקומות, that which we mentioned regarding to Passover Eve after the midday, right? Or whatever we mentioned before the midday on Erev Pesach. This depends on the custom of the place. מרום שנהגו לעשות מלאכה עושים, right? In the places that they are accustomed to work, we do those works. In places that they are not accustomed to do those works, one who lives in those places should not do. ויש אומרים שירושלים דינה כמקום שנהגו שלא לעשות. Now the custom of Yerushalayim is that not to do work. אבל כמה מגדולי אחרונים העידו בידולם שמנהג ירושלים לעשות מלאכה עד חצות. Wow, interesting. But many halachic authorities, many rabbis have come saying that in Jerusalem, it is allowed, the minhag was to do work till chasot. ומכל מקום מידת חסידות להקדים להסתפר ביום י"ג ניסן כדי לחוש לדברי האמורים שאין לעשות מלאכה בירושלים גם קודם חסות היום בערב שבת. However, it is a custom of the pious ones, those who want to go above and beyond the, just the minhag, not to work even on, not to get a haircut on 13th of Nisan. That is, not to get haircut on the 14th of Nisan. That is Erev Pesach, rather to do it on the 13th of Nisan, a day earlier. That way, all the opinions can be honored. No, covered and honored. Halacha Yudalet, Haminhag Lomar, Yud Gimel, Mutal Lichtov Sefarim Derech Limodo, Bere Pesach Achar Chasod. One is allowed to write books on Torah, the way of the educating or learning Torah on the Passover Eve, right? Even after midday. Ve'yesh osrim baze, and there are those who prohibit this. Ki ra'u la'achmir bo yoter mechol hamoed. That really over here, it is one needs to be very machmir. Right? It is fit to be strict, even more than the Chol HaMoed. והעיקר כסברה ראשונה אף לכתחילה. But the halacha is the first opinion, preferably one is allowed, right? Even לכתחילה, one is allowed to write Torah books, right? Even after midday on Erev Pesach. That's halacha of this siman, halacha yudaled. המנהג לומר מזמור לתודה בפסוקי דזמרה של שחרית. The minhag is to say מזמור לתודה in the pesukei דזמרה of the shacharit prayer. גם בערב פסח, even on ערב פסח ובכל המועד, and even during the חול המועד of Pesach, חוץ משבת ויום טוב. But on Shabbat and Yom Tov one would not say מזמור לתודה. אוקיי, ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן.